There are many iterations of Spider-Man villains in different sources of media, and Dr. Octavius is no exception with this one, that one, also this one, can't forget about this one. This one's not as great. Huge potential for this one. But if someone asked me my favorite iteration of the Doctor, I'd have to go with the Marvel Spider-Man's PS4 take on Dr. Octavius, or better known as Insomniac's Doc Ock, which I'll be referring to. From the very introduction, you just came from fighting the Kingpin, and you go ahead to Peter's work. Already something's off about that, because Peter Parker having a job? Wait, no, this can't be right. Surely he should be suffering right now. Anyways, when you enter the building, you see Peter walking in with a lab coat, and there you see him. The man Peter Parker works for is Dr. Octavius. And, well, it's pretty obvious because of the subtle silhouette of tentacles in the background, so it's pretty clear to us as the player that he will eventually become Dr. Octopus. But the one thing that the game does better than any adaptation of the Doctor is that the game makes us not want Otto to become the mad scientist through multiple little mini cutscenes spread across the game between breaks of being Spider-Man. These cutscenes show Otto struggling and failing half the time, and in one of them we learn that he is suffering from a neurological disorder, which means that he cannot move essentially, and from that alone the game plans to seed in our mind about how we don't want Otto to turn to the arms, but it's pretty evident that it will happen, and it does later on as we see Otto in his suit with the form iconic arms that we know and love. We know from the minigames, seriously, why do people hate these? I honestly love them, that the arms neurochip makes the host do things that they normally wouldn't do, and that affects their brain chemistry overall, and we get a first-hand experience that with Otto.
We need some more tests. For the first time in my life, I don't feel like a failure. I feel like me.
But the part I love about Insomniac's Doc Ock is that he never worked at Oscorp or being funded by anyone else, or just already in a stable position. He's broke and on the verge of failure and bankruptcy, as he said earlier. He's just relying on grants. He's basically Peter, but without the double life. And we also learn that he co-founded Oscorp, but Norman Osborn took all the credit and left him in the dust. And the whole Martin Lee thing. If anything, that cutscene alone shows that Otto was never really in the wrong, but it was Norman. And so the game does a very good job in almost diverting their hatred onto Norman to make us sympathize with Otto, and it's beautifully done. As well as Otto and Peter's relationship being solidified at the start of the game as a father and son bond, just makes the ending all more blood-curdling and tearful as it already is. Seriously, I almost shed a tear at that ending. The ending shows Otto defenseless and basically disabled now, begging for Peter to help him and telling him that it was the neural interface that was controlling him, and that it wasn't the real him. And Peter almost believes this until Otto says the last words.
And of course, you rest easy, knowing your secret is safe with me.
This part, I think, is when Peter officially realizes that what Otto did was solely for his own pleasure, regardless of the neural interface. Sure, it may have been the main factor for his craziness, but Otto learnt about Peter's identity well before the arms were even made, meaning he held that lie and intention from the very start, and I think that fully solidifies his character at the end of the game, as someone who has been far gone driven from the glory and has lost all sense of morality now, which makes the ending just ever so slightly better. And what was more impactful was when Peter was getting his ass whooped by the Sinister Six, and we finally see Otto just like emerge, being the ringleader of the Sinister Six. And Peter's utter shock at this. It's one of my favorite scenes in the whole game because you can just somewhat see Otto's face of regret or a hint of emotion after throwing Peter off the raft. Paired with Yuri Lowenthal and William Slayer's amazing performance, it makes the final conversation between the two probably one of the best endings to a video game I've ever seen. Just make sure you have the PS4 face on and not the PS5 one. I truly believe that this version of the Doctor is the best we've ever had in the Spider-Man franchise, with Sam Raimi's coming in a close second. I believe that Insomniacs just had that little extra growing room to fully flesh out and explain Otto's fall from grace by taking us through the beginning all the way to the very end.